Welcome everybody to Athearn Extra. It's a special day here today. We are coming to you live from Deschler, Nebraska, and at Spring Creek Model Trains. We've got a short show here for you, but before we do all of our other great announcements later this afternoon, we figured we'd give you a little bit of background on Spring Creek Model Trains. And just want to let you know this camera is a remote camera. If you see me off to my right or left, that means that I am looking at your comments. When we're walking the store, I won't see your comments, but when we get back to Grand Base here, we'll be able to see your comments and we can take some questions and go from there. So real quick, and everybody out there, hear me okay. We're using a new microphone system, and yeah, the sound is low. I apologize for that. That is... we'll speak up a little bit and I'll move this up, but let's get this fixed here. How's that? Is that better, guys? Tim's saying that the sound is low, so I'm gonna do this and see if that helps out. All right, so let's go ahead and get started, and we're gonna start by talking to Jeff Zucker, and let me go see where he's at. I think he's working on some orders. Well, here's Jeff right here. Jeff, for those who don't know you, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Well, I'm Jeff Zucker. I'm one of the principals here at Spring Creek Model Trains. My parents started this, and I moved home 7 years ago to help out. So, and my brother Mike, who's younger than me, came home about 3 years ago, and he's out in Pennsylvania at National N Scale this weekend. So he's having more fun than I am here at the store. But it's good to see everybody. I'm glad everybody's watching.
Yeah, thanks for having us here for a pretty important day. We've got two new Genesis announcements later on at 7. Let's do a quick walkthrough of the store.
Well, sure.
I'll let you lead and I'll follow you.
Well, as you can see in the background here, this is what we call our track and teaming room. So we have all the major players in the track game. You're seeing Atlas and Pico and Micro Engineering there. We have Wathers on another wall that's out of camera. Bunch of scenery material, Flex Track. This was our newer edition that we did about 8 years ago for the store. So I guess it was actually just remodeling the interior, so it just added more store space. As we move this way, we'll come into the main store area. And what we have here is where we have our N-scale selection. So we have about 6 rows of bookcases full of N-scale. On the ends, we'll have containers or detail parts, vehicles, that kind of stuff. As you can see right here, we got the nice Athearn products being shown off right up front for everybody. The walls are just full of vehicles and containers and detail parts around. As we move this way, we'll start to get our big HO scale racks and all the decoders. You see everything we have going on behind me is Linda working our customer service area for us today. And we'll keep heading towards the front door here. Here's our main area. As you come in, you can see that our big display case was over here. You see in front door, there's Tony. Everybody knows Tony. So we got a big HO display case with the locomotives out, showing them off. We set up ourselves a TV to show off all the new Athearn announcements. This hangs right on the side, or not just Athearn, but everybody's announcements. Right now, it's just Athearn rolling. Hopefully, you can see that. So, and then at the very end on this wall over here, Jim, is we've got all our tools and the bigger electronic parts, in cases, paints, tools, detail parts for HO scale, and a nice selection of books. So we've been in this store about 12 years now. We've been around for 24 this year, so it's been quite a ride for sure.
Well, thanks for the tour. I mean, this is definitely a one-stop shop for
Yes, it
model
is.
railroading.
Yeah.
Great. Do you have time for some questions, Jeff?
Absolutely.
Let's go ahead and go back to your studio,
Okay.
and let's switch things up a little bit and get some questions going.
A little bit of a walk for sure.
All right. So there you have it. If I remember correctly, this was a grocery store, this building?
That's correct. It was one of the 2 grocery stores we had in town, and at one point it was becoming a dollar store, a non-name brand store, and unfortunately the family had a tragedy and left town, so we got lucky, honestly, and got this building available to us. Was well maintained, and that's a lot of saved us a lot of headaches, honestly. We'll have tons of people ask us the question, why Deschler? It's not always a simple answer. We're here mainly because my dad's construction business was located here, and when we got a hold of the store, it was mainly to be a warehouse, but then Dad kind of started, construction business was still going well, and he kind of said, well, why don't we make it a destination hobby store? So when you see the Rex, that's why we have as much as we do and why we like it, because it makes people want to be here for a while and see what we have.
I'm getting on my monitor. It looks like this source is freezing, so we're going to go ahead and switch back to the computer. So if you guys just give us a minute, and we're going to switch around here. Okay, can everybody hear me out there? We were having some issues with the live feed. I heard you were having some issues with your.
Yeah, I had to change back to some old internet hardware to get us some Wi-Fi here today because the new stuff wasn't working like it's supposed to. So all kinds of good fun in the IT world.
So that's one of the joys of having a shop.
It is one of the joys of having a shop and being in a small town. You're at the mercy of usually just one provider. So
Yeah.
Sorry about that, everybody.
Yeah, it's funny. I see the comments out there, and apologize. Some of this is not within our power. So for the video experts out there, realize that sometimes things are not always in our control.
Yep.
And I think a lot of people forget that when Tony and I do these videos, we're not only just the hosts, we're also the chief bottle washer and everything else.
That's,
which means
that's right.
You know, and we don't have, unfortunately, since he is having some issues with the internet here, we're only as good as the internet feed that's coming through. The good news, though, is that doesn't slow down your website as far as people ordering product, right?
No, it does not. That website is stored out in the cloud somewhere. So that's fortunate for us on that. So we don't have to worry about it too much.
that's the joys of being a small business. I mean, you got to find good partners, and unfortunately, we ran across an issue late last night that there was no way to fix by morning. So we were dealing with it the best we can here on the internet. So
I see now we're getting another comment that we're not getting audio again. I don't see that as a true statement, but can everybody hear us okay? I apologize for the issues that we're having on this end. Okay. Yep, you're good. That means you're hooked up. As long as it's not blinking, you should be good.
I am blinking.
Yeah. So I'm getting some of you guys saying you can hear me, and other people say you can't. So I guess the people that can't hear us, turn up your monitor. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. We're getting everything on our feed here saying that we have sound, and
hopefully you can hear us.
You know, one thing I didn't do, and I didn't do any shout outs. And so for you guys that are joining us, and for some of you guys that are joining us late, let me fix that. So we're being joined by, we got about 57 people here live. I see Buchanan, Richard, Just Hey, Mike now. I think that was a band in the 60s.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Tim O'Gould. We got Frederick here, Willie. I think I saw some other folks that came in earlier. Ronald is here. James is here. Let's see. Richie is here. I haven't seen Richie in a while. Terry, Bruce, Randall, Mr. Rick Simpson. He is here. And just to name a few, we got Luttrell, Southwest Railroad, Anthony, and Donnie. So Donnie is one that usually joins us. Joseph, Ron. Thank you guys for joining us. Sorry about the technical difficulties at the beginning of the show. If you missed it, the Spring Creek's been having a few issues with their internet, but the good news is you can go to their website and you won't know those issues.
I think this spot looks like it's holding out nice for us, so
we're going to stay right here.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely. So let's go back to almost 25 years ago.
Yes.
What led the Zucker family to say, you know what, the world needs a hobby shop?
That is a good question. And it was just Dad's has always had a dream to have a hobby shop. So in year 2000, him and Mom talked about it, and they decided they'd go for it. And what the plan was to be would always have a brick and mortar at some point, but they were going to be a train show vendor to start with, because that was on the weekends. That allowed both of them to keep their jobs during the week, and then do the train show on the weekend. So that worked out for many years, until about, now 7 years ago, when he asked me to move home and help out. We've had some ladies work for us. Marianne and Sharon were awesome. They did great work, but they have moved on to other things, and now we have Glenda taking care of the customer service for us. We've struggled here lately to find a second. Still working on that part. Hopefully we'll get somebody here in this next year. But besides myself moving home, my little brother, or younger brother, Mike, moved home as well. We both kind of looked at this as an opportunity to reinvent our families, because we were both workaholics in our previous careers. So it allowed us to be home more with our kids, enjoy a little bit slower pace of the small town. Why it's still in the small town is just a lot of fortunate circumstances, kind of with getting a hold of the building. Dad's construction business kind of booming, so it just made it kind of stay here. And we've grown it to where we feel like we can. We've kind of turned it into what we feel is a destination hobby store that's worth a visit, while it is in a small town. We see lots of people come through on vacations. There will be a stop on their way to their destination for the vacation, and that's always fun to have. And it's, of course, people just stop in just to come to the store, and that's great too. So
yeah, definitely. And I mean, it's one of those things where it has become a destination for a lot of folks. Every other year, you do a show out here.
That's right.
Um,
So
tell us
this
about that.
this year for the store is or the business is year 24, and we always do a train show on the odd year. So it's every other year in July, and this next year it just happens to be will be our 25th. So we are going to try to be uh, bigger than we ever have been. We're negotiating with the high school to get access to the gym to make it hopefully bring more layouts and whatnot to town to for everybody to see. We have some other surprises that I'm not allowed to talk about yet that for that show that'll be special. We're really excited. We want as many people to come and just celebrate us being open for 25 years. We never imagined that it'd be as big as it is. Really, I mean, I think we always anticipated, yeah, there'll be a nice little hobby store and kind of that retirement job for all the boys, in the family. But to have it turn into what it is such a blessing. I can't beat it. There are days, trust me. I mean, there's days it's a job, but otherwise it's a lot of fun, and I enjoy talking to everybody when they come through and to talk about trains.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, what are the dates for next year's show?
Next year is going to be around. I'm drawing a blank for some reason, Tim. I'm
We
sorry.
have a lot on your mind.
Yeah,
You've got a lot going on here today.
I believe it's the July 4th weekend next year.
Okay.
And we didn't want to necessarily that weekend, but because National next year is moved up into earlier July, we picked that weekend to go for it. We have several manufacturers that have already committed to coming and setting up a table and talk to customers. I believe Athearn is going to be there, which will be great. We love having Athearn there, and we're hopeful to have everybody that we did, and if not more than the last time. So
Yeah, so there you go, folks. If you're looking for something to do next summer, I would highly recommend. Now, Athearn was here last year,
yes,
and we had both Mark and myself were here. We had a great time. So if you want to get in touch with the manufacturers, Athearn, of course, is going to be here. We're going to be a primary sponsor, and other manufacturers are going to be coming out as well. Plus, there's some surprises that you're going to let out of the bag eventually.
we will. We're still getting them put together logistically. That's why I'm not ready to say anything yet, but we're hopeful to have that ready here shortly.
Yeah, and I mean, definitely put it on your calendar now. If you've never been here, if you've maybe shopped online or seen Spring Creek at a train show, because I know you guys are doing train shows almost every weekend.
Yeah, that's true. Mom and Dad are really our road warriors, for lack of a better phrase. They love to travel, and they do it every weekend. And they pack that train show. They set it out, they pack it up, they load up, and they come home. And then the next weekend they're off to another one. And it's amazing that they're still willing to do it. I can't thank them enough for doing it. And I think most of you know them out there on the train show circuits. Hopefully, if you get to go to Long Beach this year, I think we'll all be there so you can introduce yourself to all of us. And we'd love to meet you. And we can't, our website, I will say, is I'm a one-man show loading stuff on there right now. And I'm getting through as much as I can uh, daily. So I appreciate everybody's patience with it. And if you don't see it, don't hesitate to send an email or give us a phone call, because there's a chance we still have something in the store.
Yeah, definitely. So if you've seen these guys at train shows, if you've seen them online, and you haven't made the trip out here, trust me, it's worth it. Yeah, it's kind of in the middle of nowhere, but
Yep.
you're going to spend more than an hour in the shop. There is everything you can think of from HO to N scale. You also got some other scales as well, don't you?
We have a little bit of O scale.
Little bit of O.
We don't have a bunch there. It's just we're not very familiar with that scale, so we're just dipping our toes into it, so to speak.
So yeah, definitely. If you can't make it before next summer, put it on your calendar now. It's going to be the weekend of the July 4th weekend, it sounds
Yes.
like.
Yep.
And come on out because there's going to be a lot going on. And I don't know how many people in our audience are
motorcyclers, but if you understand the reference, this will be the Sturgis of model railroading next summer. This will be the place where all the cool model railroad folks are going to want to hang out, run trains, buy stuff, and meet the manufacturers, talk to the manufacturers. I don't know about you. For me, I really like going to the shows and talking to people.
Yeah,
Because right
me
now,
too.
I know we've got a lot of loyal followers out there. You know, I see Richard just joined us, and Becky's been commenting. Bruce is out there. You know, it's cool to see you guys online, but I really like to see you in person. And it's funny, you see all these folks online, and it's really cool to meet them in person at
Hmm.
a train show.
Yeah, it definitely is.
So one of the questions that I see coming across my screen was they wanted to know any plans for a Spring Creek Athearn exclusive locomotive. Not right now, but that doesn't mean we're not thinking about things.
We're-
This morning we had a really nice conversation
We
about
did have
Athearn.
a fantastic conversation this morning. So
So who knows? I mean, you'll have to keep an eye on our social media feed to see if we're planning something. You never know what's going to happen. A lot of people didn't know I was going to be coming to Spring Creek
that's
last
right.
week. So we do have a major announcement tonight, and it's going to be here at Spring Creek. Spring Creek is one of the largest Athearn authorized dealers in the United States. And we're going to have 2 Athearn Genesis projects that are brand new. This is all new tooling. And you're going to want to stick around later this afternoon at about 7 o'clock Central for that announcement. So,
Any other questions you got out
yeah,
there, Jim?
any other questions? And we'll have some questions for Jeff here in a minute. It says, Richard said he met me at the Rocky Mountain Train Show. Richard, yeah, it was great meeting you, talking to you for a little bit. Glenn is saying that he loves his new CNW AC 4400. I got it from Spring Creek. So good
Oh,
job.
nice.
And shouldn't Jeff be taking his nap now? I don't think you get.
Yeah,
Do you sleep?
I don't get naps.
I was gonna say you don't sleep.
I
do
was
you?
here late last night trying to fix all that internet stuff. So we're
Becky,
running on caffeine today, folks.
yes, we are. Becky, I can answer this question because both of us are going to be at Galesburg
Yes.
next weekend.
Yep, I will.
Full disclosure, I will not have my shirt on. I'm going to be a civilian,
Oh man,
and I'll be going
I'll
through.
be all right.
I'll be going through Spring Creek and probably purchasing a lot of things to run on the N-track modules at the show.
We will be there. We'll be with us, our what we call our second show load, because unfortunately another train show set the same weekend, so mom and dad are headed to that one, and that is in Cheyenne.
Do you know if you're doing a show in Franklin, Indiana?
I haven't got one on the schedule yet.
I haven't seen that one.
I haven't seen that one.
Jackson, let us know in the comments how big is that show. I should have heard of that one because I don't think that's too far from where we're at in Illinois. If you've got some info about it, put it in the
That'd be
comments.
great.
You know what? That's a great question. You've got 2 trailers ready to go on the show circuit at all times.
No, that's not quite true. We
Okay.
have one trailer that's always ready to go, and then we have a second trailer for when we need it. We don't double up a lot because it's a lot of extra work.
Sure.
And then if you left the trailers full, that's a lot of inventory sucked into
is.
the trailer that isn't moving very often. So, nope, will be a new loadout and head to Galesburg for that weekend. Should be fun.
Who's going to the Galesburg event?
That'll be myself. I will be
Oh,
doing that show, and I'll have my family with me. So I'll have my
Very nice.
wife and my at least my son, if not my daughter as well, with us.
well, there you go. And that's one of the nice things about Spring Creek. It's a family affair.
That's right.
Everybody's involved, from picking orders to shipping orders to answering the
Yep.
phone even. So I mean,
Yeah,
a little bit of
we all
everything.
get in there. That's for sure.
One of the things I learned a long time ago is a hobby shop is a full-time job, and it doesn't end at 5.
No, it doesn't.
keeps going.
No, it doesn't. But we do our best to try to get our off time because it keeps your battery charged if you don't have it.
Right.
So
Let's talk a little bit about pre-orders.
Okay.
So pre-orders, a lot of people have questions about pre-orders. They're like, well, if I pre-order, do I have to put money down on that pre-order? What is Spring Creek's protocol on pre-orders?
well, pre-orders for Spring Creek is we offer a discount off retail for it, and then we just mark you down. We don't require any payment up front. We certainly won't say no if you would like to pay it off in advance. We don't normally care for that because circumstances happen, and in model trains, as we all have seen, some things come out within a year, and sometimes it's longer than that. And so life can change, and we don't like to hold on to money. But what we prefer is when it does come in and we do contact you. If your mind has changed, we're okay. Just tell us. Don't just ignore us. Let us know, and we'll be happy to cross you off if you decide you didn't want it, or if you do want it, or if you want something else. So that's how it works. We wait till it comes in, then we contact you for payment, so that you're not sitting there with paying for something and then waiting for it for a year.
Yeah, sure. So for a lot of folks that they know that Athearn is pre-order, and I get asked this question at shows quite often. It's like, unfortunately, I had a local hobby shop, but they closed for whatever reason, and I don't have a hobby shop anymore. Remember Spring Creek? You can definitely call, or
Yep.
you can you do your pre-orders online, or is it all call?
Call or email.
Call or
Either
email?
either
Okay.
one of those.
Real simple.
Yeah, we haven't quite got to online pre-order system yet. But yeah, definitely let us know. We'd always try to have extra in stock for the store, so there always an opportunity to get something. There are a few things here lately as we're trying to catch up from uh, the glut of product that has come out from every manufacturer, not just this guy.
So yeah, if you see one of our Train Tuesdays or any other video on something that's new, like tonight, we see
Mhm.
something new. Actually, too, this afternoon at 3:30, we're going to be showing product that is coming in the next few days. And if you're like, oh, great Scott, I didn't pre-order that model, you can still call up Spring Creek
Yep.
or email them and say, hey, is there a
Definitely.
chance I can get this? Because you guys order above pre-orders too. You always have
Oh yeah,
inventory.
yeah. We always try to have inventory because we have that show, or we have the store, and then we have our show trailer. So we always try to have our show trailer tries to bring a little bit of everything on the newest stuff that comes out when we get it. But sometimes things sell out, that's for sure. But that's a good thing because that means it was a popular product.
Absolutely. And another thing that you guys have done, and it's real handy, maybe you're nowhere near this part of Nebraska, but they're coming to a train show in your neighborhood. And you've been
Yes.
known to bring
Yes.
items that folks are wanting from your store to the train show for 'em.
Absolutely, and on that, that's no commitment to buy either. It's you call us up and say, "Hey, do you have this? I'd like to look at it." We'll bring it along, and if you decide you want it, great. If you decide, nah, it doesn't really fit, that's okay too. We'll still sell it. That doesn't hurt. We love the input because it lets us know what types of products we should be bringing that direction.
Yeah, we've got some good comments here. I'm going to put them on the screen here.
Sure.
We got Terry saying Glenda is great to work with on pre-orders. We appreciate that feedback. And let's see what other questions we've got here. We've got some people that are already asking about what tonight's new surprise is. I'm going to keep it hush for now. Willie wants to know if he didn't direct it to either one of us, so we can both answer it. You have any Houston visits anytime soon?
Unfortunately, we don't have any Houston visits anytime soon. We haven't been able to find a good 2-day train show. When we roll our setup, we really need a 2-day setup to make it work. But for the Texas area, we always do come to Plano in the early winter or early in the year in January, and then we do. Let's see, what's the new one here? Or newest, closest, not newest, closest is Temple, Texas, coming up here in September. Otherwise, we have some in the San Antonio or New Braunfels, Samarin, which is part of the San Antonio group. So,
all right. So, and as far as Athearn is concerned, we are actually looking. We'll see what my schedule looks like. Keep in mind our budget's already done. But if there's a show in Texas that you think Athearn should be at, Oklahoma, Texas area, we do want to hit that part of the country. So let us know.
yes,
so we
please.
can plan for next year. Yeah, Terry's talking about the Oklahoma show in November. I know that's a really well-attended show, if I remember correctly. Let's see. We had some other questions. Jackson says, any plans for more Chicago Great Western, Illinois Central, or Iowa Interstate? I can tell you yes. Stay tuned next Friday, which is when we're going to be doing our new announcements. And I think you'll be happy with at least one of the selections that we have.
That's
And
cool.
by the way, if you
He hit my heart, Iowa Interstate. I like that railroad
yeah,
too.
that's a great railroad. Local for both of us, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we get to rail fan that. Another thing too, if you see the same railroads, and you're like, man, I really wish they would do my railroad. Don't forget, you can go to our website or you can just email us, and it's Athearn product suggestions at athearn.com, and put that in the email. Let us know what it is you'd like to see. Now, I can't guarantee that we're going to produce it, because if you're just one guy that wants the Podunk and Central,
Right.
it might
Right.
not happen. But if we get a bunch of guys saying, hey, we really need some GM&O, well, it's time for us to
Let's
start
look
thinking
at-
about that.
yep.
So that's how it kind of works. Otherwise, you don't want the product developers running loose, because we talked about that this morning. It's just
They're going to do their
favorites.
They're just going to do their favorites.
Yeah, we're just going to do our favorites.
That's what he told us. They just like to do their favorites.
That's right. So use that email. We do actually look at that email. I have had some folks say, well, yeah, but I never get a response. Keep in mind, it's not a two-way communication device. It's a one-way. It just kind of goes in. We put that into a database, and that database is used the next time it's time for a new release or a new railroad to be offered. Let's see what else we've got here. A lot of guys asking some great questions. Look at this. This one's from Michael Nemechek. He says, Jeff, great. Thanks for putting sound in my rotary snowplow. Think if you remember, you're going to ask Jim to see if it could be put in. So it sounds like you did a sound install in one
I
of the
did.
rotaries.
He asked, and I thought, oh man, that guy's, I don't know. And then I watched the video, and I said, you know what? I think I can do this. And I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. It's really fun to operate that blade on its own.
Yeah, that's cool.
So yeah, that's something you guys should be thinking about.
It's something we might have to do in the next release. It's definitely something to think about. And that's the other nice thing. Even though you guys are an online presence, you guys are at train shows all the time, you still have that home hobby shop feel. If I have something that I want an install, you can do it. You're very open with your pre-orders and how you do that, how you handle that. So think of them as your brick and mortar hobby shop, which they truly are, but accessible 24 hours a day on the internet.
Yep.
Let's see what else we've got here. Let's see. A lot of good suggestions on road names and such. We'll talk more about that later. Rogan's already asking for a hint on what we're gonna do tonight, and I kind of want to give him a hint, but then if I say it's a steam, that's like 50% of what we could do. If I say it's diesel, it's 50% of what we could do. So maybe I won't. You're gonna have to stick around till 7.
Yeah.
My lips are sealed. But I think a lot of guys.
He hasn't even shared it with us. I mean.
Yeah, these guys. Jeff doesn't know.
I'm like, man, I gotta know. I want to know.
Exactly. So keep in mind too, we've also got another live at 3:30. I've got some stuff here off camera that you can't see. Tony is going to join us. Tony Cook from Model Railroad News. We're going to be showing you stuff that's going to be available in the next few, possibly days, that just got through the photo studio. They're being put on our website right now, and we're slowly getting through that backlog. I know it's been frustrating for you guys because you don't know when these pre-orders are coming in. We're starting to see those pre-orders from a couple of years ago start to come in. So you're going to want to stick around at 3:30 to see what's going to be here in the next few days. And again, if you didn't pre-order them and you really want one of these, you can definitely call the folks at Spring Creek.
Let us know. Glenda will happily write you down.
Yeah, definitely. So what do you think, out of everything that you've got going on, what do you think is the most challenging aspect of your job at Spring Creek?
Of my job, keeping the inventory up to date is a challenge. It's amazing. You really don't realize how many SKUs you're dealing with per day, but it's a chunk. I would not want to be bigger. That's
Right.
put, you know,
That's a lot.
get a lot more than what we already have. There's a lot of things that are done by everybody, and making sure that's accurate so that the uh, website is accurate is my one of my most important things, because I don't like disappointing somebody when they order something and it ended up not being in stock.
Yeah, definitely. And I know for myself, I live in a very rural area, whether I'm in New Hampshire or Illinois, both places are very rural. And sometimes, it's Wednesday and you're kind of planning for the weekend. You're going to maybe work on your N-track module. I know I need to do that before next weekend. Or something on the layout, and you're like, hey, you know what? It's Wednesday. If I order now, and you guys are quick, depending on where you might want to call Spring Creek first to see so you can plan, but you can usually order something on your website and have it by the weekend so that you can work on it on your
Yep.
layout or module.
Depending on the part of the country you're in. Yep. We usually ship the orders the next day. So
Right. Yeah, I mean that's quick. There's been stuff I think I've ordered from you that showed up even before the weekend, like Thursday. So it
Yep.
just depends. As far as how they ship stuff, they ship it as fast as they can to you. Once it leaves your hands, though, keep in mind it's kind of up to the carrier, the delivery service. So if it is
Yep.
late, let them know.
And we've had some weird
Lately.
some shipments that are supposed to go to Illinois and end up in California. And it's like, why is it there? And
That's
it
not
eventually
on them.
gets back to Illinois, but
Yeah,
it didn't need the extra mileage for sure.
that's definitely not on Spring Creek. That is with the dealer or the carrier. Sorry. So, how many shows? I know you guys do a lot of shows, but you personally, how many shows do you think you do in a year?
Me personally, I do probably 8.
8 shows.
Yeah.
And that's all over the country.
And that's all over the country. We try to send everybody to the larger shows, so that a lot of it is to introduce myself and my brother Mike to our customer base, so that they can get familiar with us and realize that the store will be here after mom and dad retire. Um, and then I fill in a lot of double weekends.
Okay.
So, and then Micah and myself do a lot of, well, usually it's his family that goes to the N-Scale National, but there are 2 other N-Scale only shows that I help Mike out at. Micah's our resident N-Scaler, so he has to go to, because he can show the enthusiasm. I mean, I'm enthusiastic for trains, and I'll talk all about it, but he can talk the scale better than I can to the customer base, and that really pays off. To let his enthusiasm come through and join them is worth its weight in gold, really.
Right. And that's the other thing too. Spring Creek, pretty much all you guys are active in the hobby. You're active in the Fremo.
I am in Fremo, and then Mike is not participating in a modular group, but he is a hobbyist. He's avid SP modeler. Dad likes everything, so be careful. Don't tell him what you like, because he'll help you fill out your collection real quick. But now, Dad started off as of course, our town had a Rock Island branch line. So he started off his career in model and trains as a Rock Island fan, and then has grown into several other railroads. And then myself, I'm a Montana Rail Link fan, which dovetails / BN, of course, because they were the controlling railroad of the line. So,
and now a fallen flag, unfortunately.
And unfortunately, but
so, of all the shows that you do, what do you think is the biggest show that you do on an annual basis?
Oh, easily Amherst.
Amherst.
Yeah. That's something. If you haven't been able to make the Amherst Society show, try to make it once a year in your life. It's worth it. It definitely is. Unfortunately, I have to work when I'm out there, so I don't get to enjoy it as much as I'd like to. But and then, of course, probably close behind would be Train Fest, and then you got now, of course, Rocky Mountain and National, NMRA National.
Right.
Those are probably the big ones.
Yep.
The 4 big ones. We tell everybody we got 4 weekends every year don't play anything because we're
Yep.
coming.
There you go.
And they don't. The family still plans on them, so it's like, well, sorry, we can't make it because these are the weekends. These are where we make our connections. Most
Sure.
importantly, we meet you. We make connections with everybody, and hopefully develop a customer.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, so you owe it to yourself if you're planning your 2025 vacation schedule.
Yeah,
You're going to hit the beginning of the year Amherst, which is 4 big buildings of nothing but sure train bliss.
yeah, yeah.
And I'm in the same boat as you. I'm stuck at the booth all day, so I don't. I mean, it's great. I get to meet everybody and I get to talk to everybody, but I don't really get a chance to look around too much, which probably a good thing. And then we've got Rocky Mountain
Yeah.
and Colorado. That
Yep.
show is really starting to grow. It's starting to gain some momentum.
Yep.
That's another great show. That's usually the first week of April.
That's correct.
And then summertime, you're going to have your national show. And of course, the 25th
25th,
anniversary
yep.
big show. You're not going to want to miss that. And then of course, Train Fest. Train Fest is the big one of the Midwest, really.
It is.
And one of my favorite shows because it's somewhat local for the Athearn crew. It's only about 3 hours up the road. But Milwaukee's just such a cool show. And it's got so many cool displays and stuff. I'm so glad to see that it's coming back.
Yeah, I'm super hopeful for it. It was always my favorite one to go to, and of course until COVID took her down. You know,
they had some struggles.
so I'm looking forward to this year and getting to see everybody and getting to see what all the layouts really and displays and what items are out there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the fun of a train show is getting to find something that, everybody kind of makes fun of. Well, don't you own a hobby store? Well, yeah, but I don't know everything out there that's made. And
That's true. That's true.
sometimes as a modeler, I'm still a modeler at heart, so I'm just going to buy it because it's right there in front of me.
Yep, exactly. And I mean, I think we're all guilty of that. That's great. Now, another thing I'm just thinking as we're talking, we said rail fan a couple of times.
Yep.
You're in a really target rich environment for a rail fan as well. There's some great rail fanning in this area.
There is some pretty good rail fanning in this area. We actually have a small town north of us, about 20 miles, that is on the Marysville sub that created a rail fan park. They moved in an old depot from a neighboring town and built a shelter. So it looks really nice. They give you some nice shade. Of course, the Marysville sub isn't as busy as it was in the early 2000s, but it's still a good spot to sit and watch some trains. And then there's some other hot spots not far behind. If you're into short lines, we've got the Kyle to the south of us. And then, of course, you get about 50 miles north and you're on the UP main line across the state of Nebraska. And that's one of the things we see a lot too, is people will be coming through and they'll be on their way to the Golden Spike and they'll stop here first and then head to the Spike to see that. And then they're on the rest of the way of their rail fanning trip. So
if you want to come out here and do some rail fanning at the same time, I just remember too, Fairbury.
Oh yeah,
I'm staying. You've got the Rock Island Depot.
That's
gorgeous
right.
depot.
Yes.
And you can do some rail fanning there. The depot does have hours so that you can go in there and visit and see. They've been trying to restore that depot to its original
Yes, they have.
look, and they've been doing a great job. There's some cool equipment on the grounds that you can look at.
I got a fun story on that for you.
Let's hear it.
On the grounds is an old doodle bug.
Oh,
right?
That's right. Yes.
And that doodle bug was in Deschler as a laundromat.
Really?
Yeah, and they bought it and moved it over there.
As a laundromat.
Yeah, as a laundromat. So
wow.
It, of course, unfortunately, with doodle bugs, it's hard to find parts. So we hope someday that it gets restored to something
that's cool.
Just that it got saved is
Yeah.
versus a torch is pretty cool.
So there you have it. There's a neat piece of history you can bring with you. And, as any good model railroader or a rail fan, they don't run on just train dreams alone. We need food. You guys have a great restaurant in town.
We
as well.
do. We're excited about this. We had a local couple purchase the restaurant that had from the couple that was couldn't make it go, and it has been an absolute success. So we're excited about it. It's kind of neat because it's railroad themed out there. There's a big kind of steam looking engine thing on the front, and they have a O-gauge train running around on the inside.
Oh, neat.
So it's pretty fun, very good food. So we do have that. We have hopefully here in the next few months, we'll be able to announce that we actually have places to stay with some Airbnbs coming online. So we're moving forward, which will be great with that for the community and for us, because that's our biggest hiccup is just nowhere close to stay, and
Hmm.
food was becoming an issue.
Yeah, sure. So there you have it. We've got time for a couple of questions out there. I've been kind of monitoring the screen, but if you've got questions for Jeff on Spring Creek, maybe a show that they're going to, or maybe an Athearn pre-order, or anything like that, go ahead and drop that in the comments. I can't promise we'll catch all of the questions, but we'll try to
We'll
catch a
definitely
few.
try. Yeah.
We'll stick out here for a little bit and then answer those questions. So funny comments while we wait for some questions. Randall says, "Hey, if you can turn an AC 6000 CW into a bar, why not use a doodlebug as a laundromat?" There you go.
There you go. Yeah.
I've got to see where that is, Randall. If you've got
Right.
some directions to that, that would be kind of cool. Let's see. Rogan looks like he is commenting on Spring Creek has a good stock of Penn Central and Conrail equipment for both HO and N. A lot more back then, but have not committed to the order at the time. Regret not getting some of the rare releases for Conrail. Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
problem with this hobby. You see it, and if you
That's,
think about it, it might be gone.
that's right.
I've been guilty of that. And the good news is,
That's why my paycheck isn't very big, very many days for weeks.
what's a paycheck?
Yeah. Right. Right. It's
I
just
don't know.
model trains more.
Yeah, I guess.
Honey, did we need that? Yes, honey, we did.
Yeah, we don't need that washer and dryer.
No,
We
not
need
at
these
all.
AC 4400s.
No.
So
Oh,
anyway.
how far from? I think Becky asked here. How far are we from the big UP yard?
Oh yeah, how far?
It's about 3.5, 4 hours from
Okay.
here. Um, it's an easy drive though. It
Okay.
definitely is, and it's worth it. You'll sit. The tower has a great view. If you haven't done it, you need to do it. It's a great view of the yard, and if they have a docent in there, you get
Oh wow,
all kinds of information on what they're doing out there. So it's pretty fun.
that's cool. Yeah, I mean, it's probably a good thing we've been busy today because
Yeah.
we were talking earlier. You call it the track room. I can see it off camera, and
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever seen that complete of a collection of different manufacturers' track in stock. Um, if my wife is listening, I'm going to have to come home with some track for them. I've got some terminals I
Yeah.
need.
Yeah.
Really, they've got everything you can think of. I really like looking at your vehicle collection too. There's a bunch in both HO and N scale. Anthony, he is hitting me up hard. Look at this. He's got it in caps. He's yelling at the top of this Jim. There's a rumor that Athearn is going to do a New Jersey Transit P42. Is that true? I don't know about it, but that doesn't mean anything. Sometimes the guys in PD don't tell me stuff because they're like, Jim's running social media. He might run too much.
Right.
I don't know about it, Anthony, but hang out, look at our social media, keep following it. If we get some information about it, we'll put it out there. But I don't think right now we've got any plans to do that. I do know, and a lot of guys have been asking, where are the PD guys? Well, once in a while we'll let them out. Let's see the daylight.
Yeah.
Both John, Janik, and all the crew, they've been so busy with
Yep.
this stuff. And this afternoon, those questions will be answered. And we're gonna finally see
You're gonna
what
see
has
some.
been going on.
Yep.
So let's see. Comment on the from Randall. He's saying it's the Aberdeen, Carolina and Western Railroad that has that locomotive bar. Interesting.
That's awesome.
That is great. So, any final thoughts for our folks out there about Spring Creek?
Oh, for me?
Yeah.
I want to thank Jim for coming here to do this. I think it's an absolute honor to have it happen here. It's we're looking forward to 2025.
Yeah.
We're really happy to have Athearn on board and to be one of the main sponsors, I guess, brands to help push this forward. I can't say it enough. We're just so blessed to have this happen, and we're excited to do it. We're looking forward to next weekend for everybody that is either in Galesburg or Cheyenne, Wyoming, Galesburg, Illinois, or Cheyenne, Wyoming, because we'll have 2 shows going. And if you can, and if you're through the area, man, we'd love to have you stop through.
Absolutely.
We'll sit and talk your ear off and we want to have a place that's a fun place to hang out and
Sure.
just enjoy your time.
So Jeff, I'll probably see you on the Route 10 overpass next week at Galesburg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The last time I went there, it was closed. It was not a
that's
great weekend.
Right. That was not a great weekend, but this year the
This year.
Route 10 will be open, and we'll definitely get some pictures.
Yeah.
So if you are going to Galesburg next weekend, look up myself and Jeff. We'll probably be hanging out in our areas. I know every year you come to Galesburg, you got a really great display, and some of it goes home with me
Yeah,
after I
it
pay
does.
for it.
Yeah.
So again, check them out, and then of course Cheyenne. Looks like Jeff is going to be there. So Jeff, say hi to the Spring Creek crew. We appreciate it. And remember, Spring Creek is one of the primary Athearn authorized dealers. You can call them. You can go to their website. You can email them. Get those pre-orders in anytime you see something. If you don't have a local hobby shop, pick up the phone and call Spring Creek. And you guys advertise through Model Railroad News and Railroad
Yep.
Craftsman.
Yes, we do.
So if you're not as active online as some, they still advertise in the print media. And we've got something from Anthony. Here's a great comment. Let's get that up there. Spring Creek is a great store. I always buy from you guys because you always have very hard to find models. Thank you. That's
Thank
true. You do have some really good, hard to find stuff I've never even seen before sometimes.
Yeah. Dad's always kind of on that lookout for stuff out there that's manufactured that in spots that it's hard for that manufacturer to get it out to the
Sure.
public. And he goes, it makes us unique if we can get it into just one other guy's hands.
Jeff says, I always say hi to Deb and Dave. So
Awesome.
We'll move that on to them. They're here today. They're here every day, right?
That's right.
They are. Well, Jeff, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to talk with me. And we've had a great conversation this morning. And I hope everybody enjoyed this. Despite the technical difficulties in the beginning, I hope you guys enjoyed this short little interview. Again, keep in mind, next summer, the 25th anniversary of Spring Creek, and they're going to have one heck of a party that's going to be a train show. So you need to come out.
And we have the one running kind of joke out there is our Legion Auxiliary ladies do the cooking, and everybody loves the pie.
The pie's amazing. Yes.
You got to come. If you don't come just for the trains, come for some pie too.
Absolutely. There you go. I mean, what's better than pie? Maybe trains, but
Right.
Trains and pie. It doesn't get much better. Well, everyone, thank you for joining us. If you're able to, I hope to see you at 3:30. Tony Cook is going to join me here at Spring Creek. We're going to be talking about new models that'll be hitting Spring Creek shelves and other hobby shops real soon. So join us for that. That's at 3:30 Central Standard Time. That is a live. And then later at 7 o'clock, Tony and I are going to unveil the 2 new Athearn Genesis models. I hope you are prepared for that. Until next time, which is just a few hours away.
That's right.
I want everybody out there to be happy, be healthy, be safe, do some good modeling, and above all, high greens.